What if the Montreal Canadiens, teetering on the razor's edge of transition from rebuilding to contending, found themselves at a brutal crossroads where sentimentality and meritocracy collide with devastating force? That's the institutional crisis gripping the franchise right now, as a window for playoff contention in the bloodbath of the Eastern Conference slams open, transforming head coach Martin St. Louis from a patient teacher into a ruthless dictator. The trigger for this seismic shift isn't a $10 million superstar, but an unheralded worker be named Alexandre Texier, whose unexpected emergence has exposed the fragility of the Habs ecosystem and forced a reckoning that could redefine the team's identity. With just 19 games left, 15 of them against East rivals in do-or-die 4-point battles, every decision on lineup construction is a life-or-death verdict. The zone of comfort is dead, and the Bell Center's war room is now a moral tribunal where heroes, prospects, and ghosts alike face the guillotine of modern NHL analytics. Let's dissect the anatomy of this tactical crisis with unflinching precision. The spark that ignited this firestorm was deceptively mundane. Cole Caulfield, the franchise's elite sniper, fell ill with a virus, leaving a gaping hole on the top line alongside Captain Nick Suzuki and Slovak tank Juraj Slavkovsky. Facing the hated Ottawa Senators, St. Louis scanned the bench for a body to plug the gap and landed on Alexandre Texier, a player who had been relegated to healthy scratch status for the prior 5 games, invisible at the end of the depth chart. The script called for Texier to merely survive his minutes without disrupting the structure. Instead, he shattered expectations, skating with the desperation of a man clawing to avoid the press box. Texier not only matched Suzuki's basketball IQ and Slavkovsky's physicality, but also found the back of the net with a tying goal in the dying minutes of the second period. He delivered exactly what the coaching staff craved: aggression, heavy forechecking, and efficiency. But in the chess game of a 23-man roster, every move triggers a corrosive domino effect. Caulfield's illness isn't long-term. The number 22 is poised to reclaim his rightful spot atop the hierarchy, potentially as early as Saturday's clash with Macklin Celebrini and the San Jose Sharks at the Bell Center. When Caulfield returns, the corporate math of the NHL demands a sacrifice. If Texier, through sheer merit, has earned a permanent spot among the 12 forwards who go to war, then who gets the ticket back to shadows? The answer to that question transforms the Canadiens' operations room into a courtroom of brutal choices, and the first defendant on trial is the heart and soul of the franchise, Brendan Gallagher. To even whisper about demoting Brendan Gallagher in Montreal borders on sporting blasphemy. This is a warrior who has left cartilage, blood, and teeth on the ice for the organization over the past decade. He's the voice that rallies a locker room in defeat, the embodiment of trench warfare under the crossbar. Yet, the biomechanical and analytical audit of the 2026 NHL is a guillotine that doesn't read resumes. The modern league has reached a terminal velocity that punishes any player who loses half a step of explosiveness. Tactical observers, broadcast analytics from RDS, and TSN 690 experts have already pinpointed the crack in Gallagher's armor. His reaction time lags. His back-checking speed is deficient. His shot release no longer catches goalies off guard. Can he still pin the puck along the boards with pure grit and spite, extending offensive zone possession? Absolutely. But his line's inability to generate consistent danger in transition has become a black hole on St. Louis' spreadsheet. Suggesting that Gallagher be rested during back-to-back games is the first step in a corporate distancing. It's a polite way for the hockey operations department to say, your mind is still elite, but your body is a tactical liability against fast teams. Slashing the ice time of a historic leader requires a coach with a stomach of steel. It means staring at the franchise's glorious past, turning your back on it, and prioritizing the cold mechanics of the present. If the front office lacks the political courage to bench Gallagher, the blade of meritocracy will fall on the necks of the team's millionaire youth, namely Kirby Dach and Zachary Bolduc. These two names represent a profound headache for Kent Hughes, as they aren't just players. They're receipts of billion-dollar transactions and roster engineering projects. Kirby Dach is a rare physical specimen. Centers of his size with that puck control are unicorns in hockey. Yet, Dach exists in a developmental purgatory. The corporate excuse of the past 2 years has been his fragile health. He's just finding his rhythm post-injury, goes the institutional mantra. But Patience has an expiration date. On the ice, Doc flashes moments of dominance interspersed with inexplicable stretches of tactical apathy. With playoffs looming and physicality intensifying, his size is theoretically vital. But size means nothing if aggression isn't the engine driving the machine. Zachary Bolduc's case is even thornier from an executive perspective to acquire him from the St. Louis Blues. The Canadiens parted with Logan Mailloux, a defenseman for whom the organization weathered a public relations storm just a draft years ago. When you invest such dense political and sporting capital in a trade, you expect a clear return. Bolduc, however, is the definition of an on-ice identity crisis. When he activates Predator mode, finishing checks along the boards, skating with linear aggression toward the net, and playing with venom, he shifts the game's temperature. But that player shows up once every 10 days. His last goal came against Boston around Christmas. April and May hockey despises flash-in-the-pan players. If Bolduc can't sustain intensity for 60 minutes, he's a prime candidate to don a suit and tie in the press box. Let's lay out a raw, unfiltered x-ray of the colliding forces in St. Louis locker room, highlighting the stark contrast between what the team needs and what key names deliver. The stagnation, Brendan Gallagher, immeasurable spiritual leadership, but chronic speed deficiency in transition. The franchise is paying for the past. The healthy chaos, Alexandre Texier's survival-driven hunger, positional versatility, offers fresh legs and the linear speed the system demands today. The empty promise, Kirby Doc / Zachary Bolduc, ideal playoff biotype, but chronic inability to sustain physical and mental intensity game to game. The invisible trust, Jake Evans while stars waver. Evans absorbs brutal defensive minutes, racks up 7 points in 6 games, and anchors structure without demanding spotlight. The ghost, Patrick Laine, undeniable pure talent, generational shot, but defensive sluggishness and lack of game rhythm make him a liability. The new order, Demidov, Kapanen, Newhook, the second line has found perfect chemistry. Disrupting this unit to accommodate Laine or Doc will be tactical sabotage. A separate audit paragraph is warranted for Patrick Laine. The hockey world gawks at over $8 million, sitting on the sidelines, questioning the sanity of the coaching staff. Laine possesses offensive tools 99% of the league could only dream of. His hands in tight spaces and one-timer are lethal. Yet, St. Louis' system thrives on quick reads, suffocating pressure without the puck and two-way accountability. Inserting Laine now, after months without competitive rhythm, will be like fitting a tractor tire on a Formula One car. His individual talent doesn't offset the craters' lack of foot speed and defensive engagement would create in the team structure. Against transition-heavy teams like San Jose or Anaheim, hiding a slow player in the neutral zone is begging to be shredded on odd-man rushes. Laine's exile is the ultimate proof that a name on the jersey no longer buys a seat on Montreal's bench. We're entering the death row of the NHL calendar. 19 games remain, 15 against Eastern Conference foes and battles where every coverage mistake costs survival. There's no room for sentimentalism in icing Gallagher out of respect for his history. There's no margin for developmental experiments hoping Bolduc wakes up motivated. There's no cushion in the standings to attempt resurrecting Patrick Laine's career. Alexandre Texier didn't just score a goal against Ottawa. He issued an ultimatum to Hughes and St. Louis. He proved the answers to the team's woes lie not in clinging to painful dogmas of the past, but in embracing the brutal reality of meritocracy. Hockey is a cold, slippery meritocracy that accepts no excuses. The tactical war room at the Bell Center has the spreadsheets on the table, and the playoff race clock is ticking. The analysis of structural flaws in veterans and apathy in high-priced prospects is complete. Facing the suffocating scenario with the absolute imperative to qualify for the postseason, what is your executive directive for tomorrow night's lineup? Would you commit the corporate sacrilege of cutting Brendan Gallagher from the rotation, risking the implosion of locker room morale but ensuring the team's mechanical speed? Or would you take the financial pressure route, exiling recent acquisitions like Zachary Bolduc and Kirby Doc to the press box, sending a violent message to the youth that salaries don't guarantee ice time in Montreal? The roster-cutting scalpel is in your hands. Drop your verdict in the comments, and let's debate the path to playoff survival. The Bell Center demands ruthless decisions, and with the Eastern Conference gauntlet ahead, there's no time for hesitation.